Hello and welcome to another edition of Video Games to the Max. I am your host, Sean Garmer. Here with me, as always, Mr. Mark Morrison.
Howdy.
And we are down a man again, as unfortunately, right before we were going to start recording, Daniel apparently got the shivers and started coughing. So now we are hoping that it's just cold and he can feel better pretty soon. Hope you do feel better, Daniel. But it'll be Mark and I again here. But it's
Yep.
going to be a great show because we got big news to talk about between Grand Theft Auto and Call of Duty. The war has started about trying to get the big 67, 68 billion acquisition passed around the world between Microsoft and Sony. Has some comments. Batgirl movie has been delayed, axed, canceled, all that stuff. Who knows what's going to happen with it, but for now, it's not going to be in movies or on HBO Max. And we got some other stuff to talk about, including my thoughts after being about 20 hours in on Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And that's all right now after this.
You are listening to Video Games to the Max.
All right, so that being said, just really quick here, make sure that if you don't follow us or this is the first time you're listening, go subscribe on whatever thing you like to listen to your podcast on, whether it's Apple, whether it's Google, whether it's Spotify, whether it's whatever it is that you like to listen to podcasts on. We are on there. You can go subscribe to us, Video Games to the Max, or we have an entire network, W2 network, you can go subscribe to as well. And you can also go watch us on YouTube, which usually I put on demand later. It's usually like the next day in the morning. So I will tell you, if you want to listen to us faster, because I don't really edit the video, go subscribe on YouTube, ring the bell so you get the alerts. We do have other stuff that's not just us on there. They do all kinds of entertainment stuff, Marvel, everything. So you want to check out Routes and Broadcasting as well, that's on there. So if you listen to only in podcasts, it might come out like the next day or a day later. So just letting you know, the fastest way to watch or to listen to it's on YouTube, but we do show up on the podcast a little bit later as well. So Mark, I guess let's go ahead and start with this is a video game podcast. We do talk about entertainment stuff, and normally that stuff we leave to the end. But this is one of those things that's like it kind of just came out today. Might as well talk about it first because it's such a weird story. Batgirl has been axed, canceled by Warner Discovery, and that's not the only thing. Apparently, the Scoob sequel has also been axed as well, and apparently it has to do with money.
Yeah. I mean, that's not the only issue, but yeah, they want to have more high-profile movies. So,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, it's all kind of money related, right? They don't feel that it's big enough to be in a theater, and they don't want to spend even more money trying to get people to actually know that it's on HBO Max. So
I
it's
mean,
just kind of in a limbo situation.
the rumors are that HBO Max is pretty much going away on like Thursday.
What?
Yeah,
Okay, that's news to me. Like
that's what what's her name, Grace Randolph said. I think that's her last name. But it's like her rumors are basically like HBO Max, as far as like scripted shows, it's like going away, and it's being folded into like Paramount, that like their network instead.
you mean the Discovery
Yeah,
Plus?
Discover. Yep.
Wait, so they're going to kill all the HBO shows?
Well, all the HBO Max show, like the specific shows. Uh,
Oh man, that sucks because I love the flight attendant, so that's one of those. Shoot.
I mean, they'll obviously
Uh,
probably keep a few, like Peacemaker, probably will be saved. um, but yeah, folded into Discovery Plus, getting rid of HBO Max scripted overall streaming focusing on like unscripted shows. So
So
whatever,
they're going to more like the stuff that you see on Discovery now.
I guess.
That
And I mean, some HBO Max shows will stick around, but maybe those become like HBO shows.
oh Lord, what a way to just. I mean, yeah, they are trying to cost cut, which that was one of the things that is talked about in this article by Variety. That it's basically this: they're cost cutting. They're the previous people involved before this merger were all about pushing HBO Max, which is why they have all these shows. They had obviously it had to do with COVID as well, but the putting all the movies on HBO Max for that entire year. So that was a big move, and the folks now after the merger are not a big fan of that. So this is kind of part of it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Scoop didn't do well when it came out last year because of COVID. Obviously, I mean, I'm actually shocked it even got like greenlit a sequel.
I think it did well enough, like as far as people watching it on the streaming service, for them to say, "Let's have a sequel."
Right.
You know.
But honestly, how funny is this Batgirl thing?
Yeah, I mean, it does not help the narrative at all about DC movies
having zero plan or zero at like anyone at the helm, you know.
Yeah, I mean, when you compare what Marvel is doing to what DC is doing, it is absolutely night and day, if there ever was a comparison for that term. And it's unfortunate because I kind of had interest in it, with who's the cast. Michael Keaton's in it. Brendan Fraser's was the villain. I mean, like, there's some good actors in that. So, I mean, it didn't have a huge budget or whatever, but it was meant to be on HBO Max, so it wasn't going to.
I mean, the budget is unknown. It's rumored between like 75 and 100 million.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem, and we'll get into this later, I assume, with GTA 6, is the main character. Like, I think people have a very specific idea in mind for like Batgirl, like as far as like looks, ethnicity goes. And what is it? Leslie Grace isn't that?
Yeah.
Like there's some rumor about some disastrous test screening. You know, who knows if that's true or not? But that could just be good cover for them to go, yeah, let's put this in the vault as quick as we can.
Yeah, I just don't understand the whole, like, why not just go ahead and put it on HBO Max and see if it does decently. It's
not finished. I mean, the acting, like,
well, they were done shooting.
Yeah, but first of all, there's always something called like reshoots, and it's not like the special effects are done either, or there's something called like post production that probably needed to be done. I mean, so even if that's $5 million, I mean, they probably were like, why?
Yeah, it's still sad to me.
Besides, like, this is unprecedented somewhat for like being a pretty big, theoretically big movie, or like, a somewhat named movie. But this has happened before with smaller movies.
Right.
There's some Olga Kurylenko movie from like 10 years ago. It's like she was like a Chinese mermaid or some bullshit. That was like supposed to come out and it never did. And that cost a bunch of money. Like that was like at least $50 million.
Right.
And like there are way more. I mean, there are movie posters of that thing. So I mean, that was like way more. No, that cost $130 million. So that was a somewhat bigger step up in this thing. So it's happened before. I mean, that was right. a somewhat franchised movie or somewhat, comic book type movie. But, you got to wonder, like, I'm more amazed that like no one beforehand like was raising their hand, going like, "This doesn't look good."
Well, but is it? It doesn't seem to have to do anything with the quality of the movie. It
Well, except
seems
for
to
that.
be
Well, that test
yeah.
screening rumor makes it seem like that.
Right, but I mean, it seems more. It's like about we
And,
just don't want to deal with, like you said, there's stuff beyond just okay. We did the shooting, but there's other things now. So
yeah, but like,
yeah,
if the movie was actually good, then this isn't an issue. But if it's something that can't be fixed in post production without like reshooting 80% of the movie or whatever, however how much they have to like would reshoot it, that's an issue. But the bigger question is like, there's two guys directing. They did that Bad Boys 3 movie, which
I
no
thought it
one
was
liked.
fine.
I mean, it's mediocre, or it's fine enough.
Yeah, and
But
I
like,
love Miss Marvel, so that's
well,
and
they
a
didn't
lot
do
of
that, did
people are
they?
in that. Yes, they did Miss Marvel. Yeah.
Did they? Or I didn't see
Yes.
that.
Yep, they did. It's in the
Uh,
story I put in the doc.
oh, okay. Well, they only did 2 episodes, though. I mean, they didn't do the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Hey, but those are important parts of the show. But I agree with you, right? Like,
But
I
like,
don't.
the scarier thing is like, there's no one at DC or Warner Brothers above these guys looking at everything they film every day and going like, this doesn't work or this works. Like, there's
Right.
no like, I'm
But
sure whenever.
I wonder if that has to do with the whole merger. Like, they had everybody occupied on other things, and it wasn't necessarily that important for them. They just said, okay, well, these people know what they're doing, whatever. And then when the merger finally goes through, and they go, okay, you're in charge of this. Figure out what you're going to do with it, and then everybody starts going, oh, well, you know what? We're just going to can HBO Max entirely, so we don't need this. How can we
Yeah.
get out of it? And I mean, that's sad for me. That's sad to hear that if HBO Max is really going to go down.
I mean, it has the domino effect of that Green Lantern show is probably gone. They announced a while ago that Black Canary movie's gone. I'm more worried personally for like Doom Patrol and Superman and Lois.
Yeah, I know some people were interested in that Blue Beetle movie.
Yeah, that's probably gone.
Yeah,
I mean, I understand DC's impulse to like they want to have like Marvel money, which is, hey, that's a good goal to have, and they obviously have the characters to do it, but they don't have the talent, and they seemingly don't want to invest in the money to do it. Look at like Doctor Strange 2. They hired a dude that has been around for a while, and that movie cost $200 million to make. They don't want to spend, like, DC doesn't want to spend that type of money on movies, it seems like. But that movie also almost made $1 billion, and DC hasn't made on their films hasn't made over $1 billion since like The Dark Knight Returns, and that was a while ago. Like, the fact that like Justice League, which honestly should be like the biggest movie ever, or should have been,
right.
That didn't do better than Doctor Strange 2.
Well, I mean,
Justice League did about as well.
I mean, the fact that they had to go back and make a big deal about the Snyder Cut because to try to get people interested in that. I think, and that was supposed to be the better version of the movie. I haven't sat down and watched the 3-hour.
I know Jens likes it a lot more.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like, smearing lipstick on a pig. It's like, yeah, it looks better, but still has a lot of the same kind of fundamental
movie,
right? Right. I mean, I'm looking at the money, or like the budget or box office. When Justice League came out, it did about as well as Thor: Love and Thunder. And Marvel kind of sees Thor: Love and Thunder as a disappointment. So
yeah, but I mean, it's Thor: Love and Thunder is not an action movie; it's a comedy. So those inherently make less money than.
Yeah.
the action movies.
Yeah, but it's still. I mean, Thor: Love and Thunder did worse than the Ragnarok too.
Yeah.
But I just mean like, I mean, DC wants they want tentpole releases. Like Joker did really well.
Right.
I mean,
but that's when Joker doing well is what made them start saying, okay, we're not going to do this DCEU thing. We're just everything's going to be disconnected. It's going to be their own thing. They live in their own universe, and that's it. Like,
right.
So, and they already had the thing where the TV shows had nothing to do with the movies, and they had different actors and actresses and everything else. So,
I mean, here's the question I raised, and other people have raised it too. Do you think that Flash movie comes out?
Oh boy. I mean, considering the crap that Ezra Miller has got himself into,
that's
if I were Discovery, I'd want to distance myself as far away as possible from that man.
I'd be calling up what's his name, Grant Gustin from the Flash TV show, and going are you busy?
No, I mean, talk about if we're talking about Batgirl. Imagine how much it would cost to reshoot that whole thing with.
Yeah, that's the thing is I think whatever Grace Randolph also said Flash essentially this is a while ago. She said Flash essentially has to come out because they've spent so much money on it. So any return is better than no return. Because someone asked her shouldn't they just reshoot it, and she's like they can't because it's already spent so much money already.
Yeah, exactly. And again, if they're in cost-cutting mode, that's definitely not something they're going to consider doing. I mean, they do have the Black Adam,
Black Adam,
The Rock,
Shazam 2, Aquaman 2. Right. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, there's rumors that they brought Ben Affleck back as
that's
Batman.
confirmed for Aquaman 2 because there's a picture of those two guys together. So,
which I don't know why the heck they're doing that. I mean,
I like that those guys had kind of a good chemistry in Justice League, but they need to really establish, hey, this is our Batman, this is our Superman. That's it,
man. But I liked Robert Pattinson as the Batman.
And have him be,
just aired.
Pick one, flip a coin.
But this is DC's MO, right? We can literally have the Batman for a darker version of Batman, and then we can have I guess what you would consider the regular version of Batman is Ben Affleck,
and then a third Batman with Michael Keaton.
Yeah, exactly. So
and likely a fourth Batman and Joker too.
Yeah, probably. So it's insane the way that they don't have anything really, lined up at all with this.
I mean, this isn't related to this, but I mean, this is almost a week ago, or it was last week. But DC had their big Comic-Con press conference, and everyone is expecting Henry Cavill to show up, and then he didn't. He didn't. And then it was really funny.
It's we have no idea what Superman is.
Meanwhile, Marvel has this multi-year phase clusterfuck of a timeline map of here are the shows 30 shows in, or
here are the movies between Phase 5 and Phase 6. Even we have things going all the way to 2025, and DC can't even get out of the next year or whatever.
This year.
Or this year for that matter. So, and not trying to rag on DC, it's just they put themselves in this own hole that
you can, because it's entirely their fault. They have more. I would say they have more popular property, or more long-lasting properties with Batman, Superman. But they don't explain them well, or as well as they should. And they seemingly don't have any respect, any desire after the Snyderverse disaster to establish an actual cinematic universe. I mean,
definitely.
Sometimes it works, Joker. Well, works,
but they already said that they're not it's not a universe. It's these movies are going to come out, and that's it. So they might try to connect them a little bit with, Batman being in the Flash or
But it'll be
whatever.
like
But
cameos. Yeah, because even like Shazam had like Superman like at the end, but it was like a really corny or bad cameo.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what you get. So then they don't have like a well-oiled machine. So when the gears start grinding and something flies apart, don't be surprised.
Yeah, definitely won't be. Seriously.
I
Go
well,
ahead.
Could you ever imagine this happening to a Marvel movie, no matter like how bad it is? I mean, fuck Morbius.
Well, for
Morbius
one,
came out.
well, Morbius is Sony. That has nothing to do with it. But
yeah,
but Sony basically had that same thing with the Flash. At this point, they had delayed that movie so many times that they just had to put it out, and then it was so bad that then it became a joke. So, they were just kind of had their hands tied. They had to. But speaking of Marvel, since we're already on this subject, and I'm sorry for the people that listen to us for video game stuff, we will get there. But since we're already on the topic, D23 basically they announced that it's going to happen. Kevin Feige announced that there's other shows that are going to be there. There have already been sort of not official announcements, but basically pretty much these are things you can expect that are going to appear, and there's going to be extra footage of things that they announced at Comic-Con and all that stuff. So it's going to be a cool show to definitely catch up on things. And here are some of the movies and shows that we can expect may be announced at that event. The Punisher is going to have a Disney Plus series with John Bernthal coming back as Frank Castle, and it's going to be TVMA. So they did put in R-rated movies on Disney Plus for the first time last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, like Logan and Deadpool, and that's about it.
And Deadpool 2. And Deadpool 3 is a thing. So that makes sense why you would do that. We know that the X-Men are going to come down the line, so it makes sense why you would go ahead and put Logan, especially when if you're going to make a X-Men 97 sequel cartoon show, you might want to put all your X-Men stuff on there. And also because they're going to have a Storm TV series on Disney Plus. So again, makes sense to have all your X-Men stuff in there.
That sounds bad, but go on.
Yes. Deadpool 3, I already said. Shang-Chi 2 is also expected to be announced there. We know Jessica Jones is going to be a cameo in the She-Hulk show. Well, we know Daredevil's going to have his own show. I just talked about the Punisher, and now the other two Defenders are also going to team up for a show called Heroes for Hire, directed by Edgar Wright, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. That's going to be a Disney TV series as well. And then the Wonder Man is also going to be part of Phase 6, and that's going to be a TV series as well. So right now, that's kind of like the big ones that we know about. I guess we'll have to wait closer to D23. And apparently also the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday show is going to be the epilogue of Phase 4. So
no Hellstrom TV show revival? No Inhumans 2?
I don't think so. But you don't really need that with some of the other shows that are coming. So
yeah.
I mean, does any of this stuff interest you at all? Or
I mean, basically all the Netflix shows coming back is good. I am excited for that She-Hulk show. I mean, she looks cool, but I actually really like Jamila Jamil as Titania. Like, she's like the bad girl or bad person in it. She looks really cool. Everything else, did they announce Eternals too?
I hope not. We really don't need that after the Eternals 1. But
I mean, they'll make it because they have to.
Well, I mean, they don't really need to announce it. They can wait till way later. I don't think there's going to be much people, a lot of people just clamoring for that. I'm excited for the She-Hulk 2 show as well, because they pretty much just said that it's going to be the cameo show. You're going to see a lot of people on that show. So definitely going to want to watch every week. And the fact that they basically start off with Hulk being on it and, doing fun stuff already has me interested. Plus, the other things that they've shown in that trailer that we saw.
I'm excited for the 2 cartoons also, the X-Men cartoon and the What If season 2.
Yeah, What If season 2 is going to be good because season 1 was great, and then X-Men 97, of course. We grew up with the X-Men shows, so getting a sequel is pretty cool. And I'm kind of interested in that, what the What If Zombies is going to be too, having its own show as well.
Do you think for What If or like that Marvel Zombies thing, they'll get more of the like MCU voice cast?
They might. I mean, they did get plenty of them with the first What If. So
yeah, but they were still missing some heavier hitters or like important characters or voices for certain characters.
Yeah, now that they have things outlined for a while and they know who's going to be in what,
yeah,
perhaps they will, especially because there's rumors that some of these movies might have to include some of the cast that is no longer doing things. So we'll see what they end up, doing with that at the end of the day. I'm excited for all that stuff. I love the Punisher Netflix series, so bring it on, putting it on Disney Plus, and we'll see what else they do at D23, whatever else they have announced. Man, God, just between Comic-Con and then these supposed announcements, I don't know what else they're gonna freaking announce at that thing, but my gosh, that is a lot already. So yeah. I mean, other than I guess announcing casts and other things like that, but if they're going to announce more shows and more movies, my goodness, that thing is filled to the brim already. Again, props to Disney though, and everybody else. Like, you buy this brand, you make something with that brand, and then you can say you're milking it or whatever, but you have a plan with the brand, and they're letting them kind of do their own thing. And that's nice. It's not like Disney meddling and be like, oh, this is too comic-y. You can't put this in there. You can't do this. Like, it's good that they're just kind of letting them be like, okay, we trust you that this is going to be good. And so far, it's kind of mostly all worked. You could say there's some of the shows aren't great. Obviously, some of the movies have not been up to the quality if you want to. But I think, honestly, when you start having a lot more stuff in between, not all of it's going to be A+ stuff.
Right.
How do you feel about that? Like, do you think that we're going to get into Marvel fatigue because of all this stuff? Or is it people need to learn to be okay with, don't be expecting everything to be A+ super awesome and just kind of be okay with, hey, we're getting Marvel stuff?
I'm already a little fatigued as it is. Yeah. Like, I didn't watch Miss Marvel, and I didn't watch Moon Knight either. I mean, I watched Loki, but even I struggled to watch that Captain, the Winter Soldier show personally. So
yeah, that one was slow at the beginning, and then it kind of got better towards the end. But I agree with you. I was kind of struggling to watch that. I still need to actually go back, and I've tried 2 or 3 times with Loki, and then I keep getting distracted. I need to watch that. I've watched Miss Marvel.
I mean, it's like that. I know you'll bring it up, but it's like Star Wars to me, where it's just. But Marvel at least really goes outside of its way to highlight off really unknown characters or kind of really B or C level heroes, and Star Wars just keeps reusing the same 70 years over and over.
Well, I mean, yes, because they realize they have to, right? They can't possibly keep just rolling the train down the track with the same 8 heroes or whatever. They have to expand the universe, right? They have to, if you want to make series, you're gonna have to get people to like these other characters that maybe they don't know so much about.
It's not expanding the universe when it's like a prequel. It's just filling in backstory of already.
Oh no, Star Wars. I agree with you. They need to stop that. They need to just. I think the problem is that they're so scared now with the failure of the 3 sequels.
Yeah,
I guess it's not necessarily a failure in money wise, but the perception or the reception is not great, right?
Right.
I think they're just too scared to well, we can't really go too far away from this because nobody seems to want to appreciate that.
Meanwhile, like the show that does go pretty far away, The Mandalorian, people really liked.
Yeah,
So it's
that's
like,
true.
shouldn't that tell you something? Like, we don't need like the fucking Cassian Andor backstory. And, you know, the trailer looked fine,
Right.
but it's like, who cares? Like,
Uh,
unless
so,
you know, unless Stellan Skarsgård is going to show up in another of these shows, assuming he even survives this one. Like, it's like, please don't, like, please stop it. But go on.
I haven't watched that trailer. I keep saying I'm gonna watch it, and then I end up not watching it. I'm guessing the Andor thing is similar in that vein of the 7 years, or
Well,
right? That's yeah.
I mean, he dies at the end of Rogue One. So,
Okay, that's what I was trying to think of. Like, that's the one that has to do with Rogue One. Okay,
yeah.
so that's the story of the dad, right?
No, it's the story of like her love interest,
Okay, her love interest. All right.
Diego
All right.
Luna. Um,
Okay.
and like the character was fine in Rogue One, but like, hey, here's an entire TV show based on the backstory of this guy that you already know what happens to him. And I saw some people defending it, like they're like, "Oh, it is world building, or it is, you know, you
It's
get
the
so
same
much
thing with
more."
Obi-Wan, right? Like, well, we kind of know the story, but hey, we're gonna fill in the gaps.
Yeah, but it's like, who is asking for these gaps to be filled in? Or like, you don't need to know you don't need to know like plot out the entire chronology of this like fictional character. Like some mystery is fine, or just some unknown shit.
Yeah, definitely.
Like Marvel doesn't. I mean, for as much as we bitch about it, like Marvel doesn't do that. There's no like, oh, here's the Hulk. The Hulk's backstory when he's 16 years old, and find some, you know, 16-year-old version of Mark Ruffalo, and you know, but yeah, that's just me.
Sorry, I'm having to like direct traffic. So I just realized that somebody turns a light on. I was like, oh wow, okay. I didn't know that that light would actually make this brighter now. But sorry for the first 30 minutes of this. Anyway, so yeah, I agree with you, man. They need to figure out the Star Wars thing. Somebody needs to just be like, we got to move on. We just got to do a better job of. I don't know whether you focus test this more. I don't know
I,
what they need to do behind the scenes, but they need to move on from Skywalker.
I keep
Yeah.
seeing hilarious. This is one girl I follow on Twitter, and she keeps basically saying like Solo 2 needs to happen, and
Why?
it's like Solo 2 has about as much shot as, you know, gold does dripping out of my ass. Like, it's not going to happen. It'll
I mean,
never
if
happen.
anything, the only one that was a plus in that movie was Lando. Donald Glover's Lando. So if you wanted to do like a Lando series or something like that, maybe that could happen. But I don't
Yeah,
think we're getting a Solo too. No way.
right.
Yeah. Um. Okay. Let's let's get off the movie stuff here. So anyway, so we're gonna do a little bit things a bit different from now on. I'm sorry that this wasn't supposed to actually go like this. We're gonna do the news first, and then I'll talk about Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and whatever Mark's been playing as well after we do the news. So just letting you know. That being said, the we know there's gonna be a Pokemon Presents. So unfortunately, we're recording before this is like that's literally happening in like a few hours. So yeah, we'll have to catch you up on that later. Or since Mark doesn't care about it, maybe I'll just do see if I can find somebody to do it. Uh,
Gotta catch them all. That'll be the subtitle of the conference.
well, maybe they're gonna announce a new spin-off or something, aside from showing off a bunch of stuff about Scarlet and Violet. But either way, the big thing that's going on this week is that we have started to get they're going around the different countries that have to approve the acquisition of Microsoft and Xbox purchasing Activision Blizzard King. And in Brazil, they were asked the question of, and Sony had to give an answer of Call of Duty's worth. Like, how important is Call of Duty to the game industry and everything else? And Sony gave an interesting reply to this. I should note that Microsoft has also put out a reply that's basically like, there's nothing special about these games that should make it to where you can't go ahead and let us acquire this company. Move on.
If they asked that to me, or if they said that to me, I'd be like, then why are you trying to acquire it in the first place?
I mean, I preface that by saying at the end of the statement, Phil Spencer, whoever it is that made that statement, says in regards to the foreclosure, in regards to why you shouldn't give us a problem about owning the company, basically, or owning the IP. They've already said that they're not going to take it away from being multi-platform. We've talked about it, but it doesn't really make sense for Minecraft. This is another Minecraft situation. This is another and you've convinced me now. I was at first like, oh well, you got to make it exclusive, whatever. But for one, they could really get into legal trouble even down the line if they make Call of Duty exclusive. I think because Sony could try to file suit or whatever, even if they let this go through. That. Yeah. It's hurting the game industry if Microsoft takes it exclusive, but they actually stand to lose a lot by removing something that does give Sony so much money, as Sony points out in their statement. Let me go ahead and just, I guess, read what Sony had to say, quite frankly. According to the 2019 study, the importance of Call of Duty to entertainment in general is indescribable, they said. So it's funny. Microsoft says it's nothing special. Sony is saying it's indescribable how important Call of Duty is. The brand is the only video game IP to break into the top 10 of all entertainment brands among fans, joining Star Wars, Game of Thrones, Harry Potter, and Lord of the Rings. Call of Duty is so popular that it influences users' choice of console, which that's Sony's biggest thing, right? If people find out that Microsoft, Xbox now own Call of Duty, which means that Microsoft would have the right to, let's say, put it on Game Pass, right? And you still have to pay $70 for it on PlayStation. You could have all the DLC for the first 3 months or whatever. You could have exclusive modes or whatever that are only on the Xbox side, right? They could do that. So it could influence people deciding to buy an Xbox instead of buying a PlayStation if they haven't PS5 if they haven't bought one already. So that is Sony's point, right? The loyalty of users is so entrenched that even if a competitor had the budget to develop a similar product, it would not be able to rival it. It's why Sony says that it's very difficult for them to believe that this could be owned by a rival competitor. Call of Duty takes 3 to 5 years to make, and so many people work on the game, yada yada yada. Anyway, the point is, we know how much money Call of Duty makes every year, except for this year, where Elden Ring has just absolutely blown everything away. Call of Duty usually is always the top game every year in sales. Yeah. So do you think that Sony has a gripe here about Microsoft shouldn't be able to buy Activision Blizzard because Call of Duty is so big that it could harm the industry? Or is this Sony just trying to kind of poke holes to see if they can gain any ground?
Well, honestly, they should sign an agreement that says Call of Duty is going to be on Sony consoles for the next 10 years. After that, game on. That Xbox gets it. But I think about the rumor, some of the more popular rumors are like Sony wants to buy Square or Square wants to be acquired by Sony. Let's say that happened, like in this theoretical, would Xbox care? Would Xbox say
I mean, they already don't get the two. They already don't have the three biggest games that Square Enix makes.
Yeah.
Right? They don't have Final Fantasy VII Remake. They don't have Final Fantasy 16, and they don't have Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, but Final Fantasy VII Remake did come to the console eventually, didn't it?
It still has not come to Xbox.
Oh, okay. It's just PC.
Just PC, just Epic, Steam, and PlayStation. That's it.
Okay.
Again, I think I speculated before, it could very well be that because they decided to make this 3 games, the exclusivity doesn't run out until the actual 3 games are completely made and out and everything. But still, by then, if we're talking about 6 to 7 to 8 years down the line,
right?
Even if it's all going to be on Game Pass at one time, the amount of who's going to care is not going to be anywhere near as big as if it would have come out even last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just don't think that's even, to be fair to what Sony is saying, I don't think that even them owning Square Enix in its entirety is comparable to owning something that is such a boon for the industry as far as what Call of Duty is. And that's the problem, is Activision has become all they do is Call of Duty, to the point where basically owning Activision, which obviously we know they're also buying Blizzard, which has other properties. They're buying King, which has Candy Crush and other stuff. But when you think of Activision, they have made it to the point where the only thing you associate with them with is with Call of Duty.
So the only thing I could counter, imagine if Microsoft said this, if they said, you know what, you are right, us owning Call of Duty would be a detriment to the industry. But if you look at how much we fucked up Halo Infinite, imagine we do that on the Call of Duty scale. You guys got no problems.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to do that.
If Phil Spencer said that, I would respect him so much.
Plus, I don't think that they have to worry about that because Call of Duty had its own, their own free-to-play thing. Their own multiplayer free-to-play, the Warzone. So they don't have to do that with Call of Duty.
Well, that's not good right now either, or it's such a.
I mean, but they're bringing out the 2.0.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I think the thing is, that
Call of Duty is like a system seller. I mean, There are a lot of 15-year-old kids who only want to buy it for that reason, but there are. I just don't think it's like the number one, reason per se.
Yeah, I think what Microsoft could point to is say, look what we did with Minecraft, right? And say, okay, well, Minecraft is also a game that has continued to sell. Even after all these years, we've continued to make things for it, and it is on all systems.
It would be a really good comparable thing, and this would never happen, obviously. But if Sony was like, hey, we bought Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
GTA 6 is only on, only on PS5.
I think the issue with saying that about Activision is, well, yeah, they do support Grand Theft Auto until the next one comes out. So I guess it's comparable. It's not, you're missing the whole yearly release thing that Call of Duty has been doing.
Yeah, but they're slipping from that because of all the turmoil. Like next year, they're going to have a GTA game, or Call of Duty game,
which they need to do. Right, it needs to have some time off to figure out what's going to be the cadence. What are they going to do? Are they going to have the 3 studios switching around like they have been, or are they going to kind of give them all time to figure out what they want Call of Duty to be in their eyes, or are they going to remove some of these studios and say, look, you're the Call of Duty team only. We want to use, say, Raven and, I don't know, Treyarch for something else. Yeah.
It's basically at the point where Call of Duty is like, they have like one historical game, one present day game, and like one near future game.
Right.
And the last historical game bombed, and the last, well, I mean, Cold War was also historical, but like more.
The first Modern Warfare did well.
Yeah.
Of the remake or whatever.
Right. Cold War did okay. It wasn't everyone's cup of tea, but I actually liked it a lot. But yeah, Vanguard is the one that is bomb.
Yeah,
as bad as Ghosts.
I wouldn't say bomb. They didn't sell to the expectations of all the other Call of Duty games.
Yeah, but even all the critical and everything I've heard about that game, just no one liked it.
Right.
People bought it, and then just disappointment all the way or most of the way through. So, yeah.
I mean, do you feel like it's a good thing that they're giving it that time off? Like, do you think this could help Call of Duty kind of the developers figure it out?
It should, but it really depends on if Microsoft does buy the company. Because if they do, it's a good thing. If they don't, and Activision keeps in control, then it's supremely bad. Because whatever next Call of Duty they rush out is going to be, terrible, I think.
Do you think Microsoft could even try to use the state of Activision as a way to say, look, we're kind of saving this company here?
I think they totally will. Or that's the picture they'll paint. I mean, it's not like, Activision isn't on death's door, but I'm sure they're going to go, oh, one more failed Call of Duty and they're done. It's like, no, they're not.
No, not in that way, but it's like, look at all of the bad press that the studio has. We're trying to help and clean that up. And then we're also trying to help all these other studios that are,
like, the rumor is that Bobby Kotick is staying around. So,
well, no, he's only staying around until the acquisition is done, and then he's out. They've already said this. Like, they just can't publicly say it because technically the deal is not done. So they can't do anything because then the Activision investors will start, raising hay, and then the deal could go haywire. So they have to keep quiet. They have to do what they said they would do in that announcement that they initially made, but he's going to be gone. I don't think you can say that you're improving the work culture at all and then keep him around. I don't get that.
Right.
But yeah, no, this thing with I think Sony has a point, but I don't think it's going to stop it from going down. I don't think that when you look at the whole, if your whole thing is antitrust, monopoly, they're nowhere near that. There are so many other studios out there, big studios. Could you say Ubisoft is in trouble? Sure. Could Ubisoft be the next one to get targeted by somebody? Sure. But you still have EA. You still have Square Enix for now. Will Sony wind up buying them? Who knows?
I mean, I think if Microsoft does buy Activision, Ubisoft is off the table.
You think so?
Yeah. There's no way it would. That I think that would lead to like an antitrust problem. Because you're essentially taking away like the number 1 and number 3 third-party developer. And it's not like EA is not prolific enough. I mean, their games do really well, but they're all, 90% of it is repeated franchises from the year before.
Yeah, I think the only way it could happen is that Ubisoft says, like, well, we kind of went to them and said, we're in big trouble here. We need, like, somebody to buy us so we can stay afloat.
Right. And they're not that bad off yet.
Yeah. I mean, we went through the whole. Listen to the episode from last week. Marc and I talked about it for like 20 minutes. What's going on with Ubisoft? We don't need to rehash it again. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting road as well, because we thought we were kind of going to go in the acquisition era, but now with inflation and things going the way they are in the market, I mean, Nintendo and Sony have both had to come out and say that they're not going to raise the price of their consoles because they've had to raise the price of other things in Japan because of what's going on with the weak yen and everything. That's not being helped by the rest of the stuff that's going on in the market. So, gonna be after this, I wonder what these companies are gonna do. But Ubisoft's kind of already doing this. They're giving some of their stuff to PlayStation. They're giving some of their stuff to Microsoft and Xbox Game Pass. It's a really weird thing for Ubisoft, quite honestly, to see them like divide themselves up so much. It seems like all the multiplayer stuff is going to Xbox, and then like all the single player stuff's going to PlayStation. But yeah, it is still just kind of a weird thing to see that that's happening, honestly.
Right.
Who would have thought Ubisoft with such like a rich history and then like all these franchises, and then that's what's happening with them, really. I'm sure we will get more on this whole thing with Sony and Call of Duty and Microsoft and all that in the weeks to come, until this is completely done. So we'll be talking about it again. Rest assured, folks. The other big story that was basically like the day after we recorded, which always seems to freaking happen.
You constantly complain about that, but of course it does. Or like
I'll just keep saying it because it does. Grand Theft Auto 6. This is not like officially confirmed by Rockstar or Take-Two or anything. This is Jason Schreier Bloomberg reporting that the playable protagonist of Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be a Latina female, and it's going to be set in Miami. So Vice City, basically, again. And it will have a male lead as well, because it's supposed to be kind of like a Bonnie and Clyde storyline, sort of. But it seems it's like Far Cry 6, where they're going to push the female Latina lead, but there will be a Latino man that you can play as well. They're going to have a single player map that's going to be updated over time with new missions and cities on a regular basis. And they are apparently going to take longer on the game so that you don't have less. So it's not going to be this. It may not be as big at first, but they're going to add on to it so that they don't have crunch and everything else. What I was happy to see that we didn't have this absolute inane backlash to the announcement. You still had some weirdos voice their opinion, but there wasn't this terrible, backlash against it that I thought there was going to be. What do you think about it? Like, as somebody, I don't really play Grand Theft Auto games, but the fact that it's set in Miami, where I live, and then also it being a Latina lead has me interested, because representation matters and all that.
Okay,
But yeah,
that's my issue. Is I saw your tweet about this and I didn't. I held my tongue. Why does representation matter?
it does. Who you play as and who you watch in movies, who you see in TV shows, all that stuff.
But like
that stuff matters.
Why? Like, I mean, I'm not. It's not like I'm not questioning your feelings, but I just see it as such like a. Do you really feel like that kind of like low about yourself?
It's not about myself in particular. I think it's about the people after us, right? The kids coming up, the teenagers coming up, like gaming will go on after we get to a point where we're not talking about this every week and we're kind of just playing games here and there and whatever. Like,
and well,
people care about having a black lead in a film, a female a female lead in a game. I mean,
if you care about that, play Saints Row.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is, for one, this is set in Miami. So if you're gonna set something in Miami, it should be, gonna be honest with you, a Spanish speaking lead. Because that's pretty much the number one language spoken is
by that. Here. Well, by your logic, the only game that would like fit your criteria would be GTA 5 for me, as this like white guy. Like GTA 3 also had white guy in it, but like he was basically like a non-character because he didn't even talk. Like he didn't have a name. But GTA Vice City had Italian guy. San Andreas had African American guy. Right. GTA 4 had immigrant guy, like Russian guy, I think, or where the fuck he was from. Chinatown Wars had Asian guy. I mean, it's just, you know, I don't have to like, you know, I think I'm like Irish and Scottish and German, but that doesn't like matter to me in terms of like a game or who I'm playing as. And I guess I know
it doesn't. Like, it's not like look. I don't care. It's not like I only play games with Latino leads in them.
Right. That'd be like slim pickings.
Well, I'm just saying the fact that they chose one, and they're kind of. I'm not saying it's obviously going to have the satire and all the other stuff that we come to know from Grand Theft Auto. It is not going to be like them trying to Ubisoft Grand Theft Auto. They're not going to do that.
That's also my worry, is because I thought about, they did have a Latina character in GTA 3, I think.
Right.
And well, she was like minor, but there was a big Latino character in GTA San Andreas. And she was like the most like stereotypical character, like Latina character you could imagine. Like super violent, super like fiery, I guess, to use a term, but like more crazed than like every male character in the game by far.
I mean, it's already a stereotype, the fact that you have a Latino person in a crime game. I mean, everything that ever involves Latinos in games has to do with crime. So that's already a stereotype in itself. I'm not saying
well, you say that, but the funny thing in Vice or in San Andreas is like the Latino guy in the game is like the most like stand-up guy in the game or in the story.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm just saying, I'm not expecting them to change what Grand Theft Auto is. Maybe they will do some things as part of the whole improving the work culture. Like maybe they don't have some, maybe it won't be as crude as it has been in the past. Like maybe, I don't know exactly what they're going to do that improves the work culture that may come on to this game, but I don't think it's going to be this woke thing that everybody is going crazy about or whatever. Like,
no, it'll be like GTA 5 or just I just think it's going to be like Natural Born Killers or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
So, some like really, I mean, I don't care about the Latino part much. I think the romance part is going to be like the really terrible part of this game, personally.
Why?
They just don't do that type of it. It's going to be incredibly like schlocky and like overly dramatic.
Yeah.
I'm afraid of it becoming like a Mexican soap opera or something like that.
I don't know that it will. I mean, it is interesting, right? It's a different thing for Grand Theft Auto because all the leads have been male. So how do you change this to still be Grand Theft Auto, but your main lead is supposed to be female? I'm assuming the writing will be done to you're going to be able to do either one, but that's
the weird thing is like in GTA 5 before, like when the game first came out, when they like showed it off, it seemed like Franklin was going to be the lead, the African-American guy.
Right.
And he disappears. I mean, you can still play as him and he still has some missions, but he basically disappears from that story like halfway through. and it becomes like much more of like the Trevor and Michael like
Right.
storyline. So they could mitigate it that way. Like they can might start you off as playing the guy character and then quickly switch to her, and it becomes like her storyline. It all depends. Or they could just have you play as her all the way through. But I don't want it to be like Assassin's Creed, or like you said, Far Cry.
That's what I'm thinking of too. Is I wonder if it's going to be that where you're sort of promoting that. Was it Cassandra, right? In Odyssey.
Yeah.
Like Cassandra in Odyssey. I forgot the girl's name in Far Cry 6. That's who your main character. Yeah, Danny. That's right, Danny. That's your main character, but you do have this other option, right?
But it's funny in Valhalla. I just stuck with the guy because that's who they seem to favor more.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did show him off. You really didn't even know, except for when they showed it in like a couple of screenshots that they had the female Ivor. So, again, I don't know. It come down to it, I may not, because I really just have never been much of a big GTA fan. But I do think that that's cool that they're trying to be a bit more representative of Miami this time around. And again, like I think it's cool this is different, right? How are they going to present the female lead? How are they going to make her different than the other GTA leads that they've had? And how is this going to be? Like you said, is this going to be more of Ubisoft type, having both the characters, or are they going to try to do it where it's two storylines, but you're in the point of view of one of them at all times?
Sadly, they can't get Tommy Vercetti back for this thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, again, this thankfully was not as big a controversy as people thought it was going to be. Thankfully, people have grown up a little bit, and we're not having this Gamergate type discussion again around this. Yeah.
I'll ask the stereotypical question just to get a rise out of you, and it'll be funny. In GTA games, like past games, they've had like mini games, like tennis or pool. Do you think in this one it's going to be soccer?
That'd be cool, but I don't know that they're going to be able to. What foosball maybe? Because
no, I meant like just actual soccer, like just screw it.
Just go on a street pitch and do it like that.
Yeah.
Either way, that's what we know right now about Grand Theft Auto 6. Maybe comes out 2024, 2025 is the rumors right now. But
I do have one request to do is like Latin themed. They need to get Carlos Mencia in the game. We should be able to kill him.
Well, yeah, if you're gonna kill him, then go for it. Hopefully the music is also representative as well. That'd be cool if they have
Well, Vice City had like a Latin, at least one or two like Latin radio stations, or the type of.
But that was more like '80s focused as well,
right?
So,
yeah,
but that is still my favorite of the GTA soundtrack.
I mean, it'd be funny to me if they just had like one radio station that was like all in Spanish.
Yeah.
Like no subtitles at all. Just say screw it. Here's like 8 hours of Spanish. Spanish radio talk and nothing else.
Right. Well, so just before we get to like the other, I guess, kind of topic here, here's the PlayStation Plus Xbox stuff for the month, since that kind of started becoming you can go and unlock that stuff now. PlayStation Plus, the Essential, had some really 3 terrific games on it that everybody should go play. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, you reviewed that game. You really liked that game. I think everybody would second that. The fantastic remaster remake.
Except for Activision.
Yeah, except for Activision. Yakuza Like a Dragon, one of my favorite games ever. It is awesome. So I can tell you, the JRPG version of Yakuza, and they nailed every single part of it. and you really need to go play it. If you have not played this game yet, you will love it. You will love the cast. You will love the stories, everything. I mean, there's just so much to love about this game. Honestly, just go play it. And Little Nightmares is really good too. It's one of those puzzle platformers. It has like a kind of like a horror, weird
Yeah.
theme. I I think most people know it by now because it has the sequel that came out recently, last year. But definitely you should go play that as well. The Nightmares is really good. And then also PlayStation Plus, extra and extra will be getting most of them. Premium is getting all of them because all of the 8 Yakuza games are coming to PlayStation Plus. So very much like Game Pass, where we saw last month. I mentioned that Zero, Kiwami 1 and 2 were coming back. And now we found out PlayStation Plus is getting everything, so all the Yakuza games are going to be on that service. The Yakuza 3, because Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 had to actually be specifically made for Xbox, they were able to just put that on Game Pass as a whole. The one on PlayStation, because they were already made for PS3, they just remastered them, and what you're getting is the PS3 versions of Yakuza 3, 4, and 5. So you have to have premium to be able to play those because they'll be part of the PS3 streaming. They will not be the collection that you can buy on your PS4, which I don't know why they didn't do that, but sure. I guess it saved them some money. I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably easier. I mean,
Yeah. But that's a cool lineup so far. We don't know what there may be more that they reveal in the middle of the month for PlayStation, but that's what we know right now. Xbox games for gold. You can it's the first game. You get Calico, Scourgebringer, which I swear they've already had on there before. Saints Row 2, and what's your Monaco? What's yours is mine. I can't vouch. Saints Row 2. What is your opinion on the?
I didn't play it on Xbox 360. I imagine it's better than the PC version, but I don't like the earlier Saints Row games because you have to like grind out respect to like unlock the next story mission.
Oh, okay.
Which is terrible. It's like, you have to be rank 18, you're only like rank 14, so go grind out some insurance fraud or do some bullshit like that to like go to the next story mission.
Yeah.
No good.
Well, thankfully they have fixed that in the later Saints Row games.
No, in three they did away with it, and even 4 they did. They're just like, yeah, no.
Well, let's see what it looks like. They're not doing that for the new Saints Row.
No, I imagine it's going to be the same thing because people really didn't like it because it's like, I should run this truck spewing poo everywhere. Let's do this for a half hour until I can get enough respect to get to the next mission.
Yeah. And just because it came out today, the first half of August, Xbox Game Pass games, Ghost Recon Wildlands is available right now, which is actually a decent multiplayer game.
That's okay, but it's still a long grind.
Yeah. Shenzhen IO will come on August 4th for the PC. Turbo Golf Racing, which is very similar to Rocket League, is going to come to all 3 of where they have Game Pass on day 1. 2 Point Campus is also a day 1 game, August 9th for all 3. I know you like the 2 Point.
No, I never played them.
Game. Oh, didn't you want the hospital one?
Yeah, I wanted it, but I never got it. So.
Oh, okay. I'm sure it is not that expensive right now. But as I loved the Power Wash Simulator when they came out last month, so Cooking Simulator is also going to be joining. So I guess this is Xbox's new thing. We're just going to add the simulators and see how well they do. On August 11th, as well as Expeditions Rome, which is like a strategy game, and Off-Road Trading Company. Those are coming to the PC version of Game Pass. So there you go. Not like a lot of big games, I would say. I'm interested with the Turbo Golf Racing, how similar to Rocket League it is, and how that works out. I'm interested in playing that. That looks like fun. I'll probably check out that Cooking Simulator, but not much else there for me.
Right.
So the other kind of thing this is kind of a more seems like it's under the radar because it was done in jest by Colin Moriarty, which for the Last Stand Media, apparently a leaked copy of the script for the newest Tomb Raider. They came upon it, and apparently it shows that the next Tomb Raider could involve a very experienced Laura that is now leading a group of other Tomb Raiders. And I guess, could it be that maybe there's multiplayer in this? Or...
Well, I think Rise of Tomb Raider had multiplayer.
Well, I'm saying, are they trying to make the story actually multiplayer? Maybe a Assassin's Creed Unity kind of thing? Or you think that that's just, okay, well, she's kind of the head Tomb Raider. You still play as Laura, but there's other ones there? Or...
that might be a mistake, but
yeah,
that's just me. Did you hear the Tomb Raider movie news, by the way?
No, I have not. What?
I mean, it's supposed to be. They're supposed to make another sequel with Alicia Vikander, but that basically got canceled.
Oh, they canceled it. Okay.
Because Warner Brothers didn't. I think it was Warner Brothers. They didn't actually start making it within contract time, so the rights reverted back to whoever owned it, and they're probably going to do another reboot.
Oh goodness!
And I was surprised. I was kind of surprised that Tomb Raider movie didn't bomb. I thought it did, but it did okay, or it did better the other ones.
Yeah, it did okay. Yeah.
But it just wasn't critically, highly respected.
Right. Exactly.
But also, it's been a while. That thing came out 2 or 3 years ago, at least. So
I mean, that's why they were supposedly working on it, so it wouldn't be too far away from it. But
right.
I think it's cool that we have a more kind of adult, Laura, and it's a fully we've kind of gone past those games that,
Was it still going to follow that continuity, or would it just be something?
I don't know. I mean, this is just kind of casting. It's not even really they're going based off of what it says about the casting. That she'll be in her mid-30s. There's going to be romantic scenes with another female character.
Of course.
She's embraced her life as an adventurer. Everybody knows about her, how great her career is. But then something happens, and then she's right back into having to be a Tomb Raider again. And but it could be that you're not just playing as Laura, you play as other characters too. So
yeah,
we'll have to see. Again, this is Embracer Group's. That deal is still pending, by the way, which is why Square Enix apparently went after Last Stand Media on this, and we're not happy about them getting a hold of this script and then kind of jokingly reading it on air. So we'll see what happens with that. But that being said, if this is supposed to be the basis for the next Tomb Raider, I guess we'll see how this all pans out. But at least we know that this is underway, and the Embracer Group will have to deal with this whenever they actually take over.
Yeah.
Also, Warhammer 40,000 Darktide got delayed again. The PC version is coming September 13th, and then Xbox is probably even next year, perhaps. Were you interested in this game at all? Or, oh no, it was supposed to come out in September. Now it's coming out November 30th. I apologize.
No, I have so lost track of like Warhammer at this point. I mean, they make like
Yeah.
4 of these goddamn games a year, not more. So I have no idea what's even that franchise anymore.
Yeah, it feels like I feel like we just have Warhammer stuff coming out, and yeah, aren't they? They're different series, right? The Warhammer 40,000,
That's the
and then the
sci-fi one,
Warhammer,
and then
yeah,
Warhammer itself is like the medieval or like magic one.
and then you have like the Vermintide thing,
Well, that's part of like the
right?
magic. That's part of the magical one.
Okay,
Uh, yeah, it's. I mean, there are. I mean, if you think like Final Fantasy, there's a ton of that shit. Warhammer has
right.
that blown away.
I mean, it seems like there's people, that are interested in this, for sure, but it continues to follow the same pattern that we've seen with a lot of uh, games this year, where this is the year that you're just delaying things, unfortunately. Do you think they wind up like delaying it again, where it doesn't even come out at all this
No,
year?
it'll well this year maybe probably not, but if it does, it's probably like December release because it'll give people a good excuse to like play it online or have more time to play it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them definitely. Warhammer has been kind of more of a PC thing anyway, so I could
Yeah,
definitely see them release that PC version, but then they won't really necessarily be in a rush to release necessarily the Xbox One right away. It is supposed to come out shortly after, but wouldn't be surprised if that's like early 2023 at that point. Um, I don't know. From what I'm seeing in this trailer, it looks like it's like this is like a co-op action game, maybe. I don't know. I just seen a
yeah,
bunch of
like
people.
that's how they all are. Also,
Yeah. So,
it's either
um,
it's either like 4-on-1 or 4 on whoever action or Total War, and that's about it.
yeah. Well, yeah. So
And
definitely,
this trailer also looks kind of terrible.
this was a year ago, to be fair, but
Yeah,
I mean, I think personally, this is like another thing. Microsoft loves having these multiplayer games for Game Pass, so it is going to be on Game Pass day one. So if anything, very similar to like that Dungeons and Dragons game that got way more play than it probably would have had it not been on Game Pass. This might suffer the same fate, I think. But we'll see. I guess maybe it winds up being decent, if anything. Uh, I think I will just mention this really quick. Uh, so EA is not, gonna renew the FIFA license because FIFA's asking for too much money. But hey, they still have the license for all the other leagues. So why not go a step further and just get the naming rights to the entire Spanish First Division League? And now you have to mention EA Sports every time you an EA Sports logo is going to be in every graphic that you show for La Liga going forward after this year. I would say that's smart marketing for EA. If
I would say that's smart marketing, but only for a very specific subsection of the audience.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, a lot of people play FIFA. You're trying to get the word out there that it is now EA Sports FC and no longer has the FIFA name. So why not have EA Sports' name slapped on everything, just like they do with the Premier League? Every time you watch a game, it's slapped on the referees and on other things. So,
Right.
good idea by EA there, to mention that really quick. Um, so apparently they announced that Evo is going to have like a press conference type thing. Ed Boon has already come out and said that Mortal Kombat 12 will not be revealed at this thing. Do you think he's just denying to deny and it will be, or you think he's actually being legit about that?
He's probably being legitimate because of the unknown if WB wants to keep him or not. You know.
Yeah, that's a very that's going to be a very interesting thing. If like they're trying to cost cut, do they try to just sell off the IPs individually, or do they just sell off the studios in mass?
They
Like,
can't. They can't do that. I mean, with Mortal Kombat specifically, because you know who's are they going to make some of the company going to make in Mortal Kombat? Like no, or you know they could, but the fans would like riot against them.
right.
I mean, they'd be like, who is? I forget it.
It'd be like Capcom just giving somebody Street Fighter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you think they would just be like, okay, well, here's all the Warner Brothers studios. You don't get the IPs, but Mortal Kombat's not a Mortal Kombat is its own thing. It's not a Warner Brothers original or whatnot. Like,
No,
you know,
I think it's just like, hey, if you want to sell off Mortal Kombat, you have to sell off NetherRealm as well.
well, yeah, that's what I meant. Like,
Okay.
do you think that they'll just sell NetherRealm individually, or will they just say, okay, this is a package deal? You have to buy all of the Warner Brothers game studios together.
I mean, how many other game studios do they have?
Well, the Lego, right? I think would be the only
other.
But the Traveler's Tales.
Yeah, but like that actually does well. So I'm sure, like if it was like Embracer Group, if WB's like, hey, you have to buy Traveler's Tales and NetherRealm, they're like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, this is something I could definitely totally see Embracer Group doing. Like, hey, we're just selling. We're trying to do a fire sale for our studios here. Please take them, somebody. And Embracer Group, I could see them just, hey, right here, please.
Yeah, the example I was thinking of earlier was like if Square tried to sell off like the Hitman, IP, but not IO Interactive when they still owned it.
Right.
Like, who's gonna buy Hitman?
Yeah. Sorry, that's what I meant. That they would just sell off the studios because they tried to do that, right? They tried to like section off some of the studios, be like, okay, well, you guys are in this group over here, and then you guys are another group over here, and then y'all are apparently not supposed to congregate with each other, and then who knows what happened. But
I mean, if let's say tomorrow, if like DC did, or not DC, WB just said, what, we're selling everything. What happens to that multiverses thing?
I know, right? That thing is getting so much attention right now with the fact that it's like it could actually be a Smash Brothers
competitor.
Rival. Yeah, like I mean, but it absolutely means nothing if all of a sudden they can't have those properties in that game. Like,
right.
I mean,
it's like, well, we created some knockoffs. There's this guy that looks like Harry Potter, but clearly isn't, or legally is not Harry Potter, but. Or instead yeah.
And they already have like all these characters playing for it and everything. Like, I don't
like how Mortal Kombat has blue, green, yellow, and red ninjas. We're adding an orange ninja.
I still need to like try to get into the beta for that thing.
I mean, you can just download it.
Oh, okay.
It's already out.
Oh, I need to go download it then. That's why I haven't messed with it, because I was like, I thought you had to.
No, it's like a 7 gig download, I think, and yeah, it's out. I mean, you can just play it.
Oh, okay. Well, let me go ahead, and unless there's something else you want to mention here.
Did you? I mean, well, the last thing is an AEW game. Like, do you have any interest in it?
I have. It might be one of those things that like I would play if I found it on a sale or something like that. I don't even watch AEW, so
Well, that doesn't really matter. I mean,
yeah.
I watched some trailer or some clip on like Twitter, I think. I don't know how long or how new it was. It looked super janky, but almost in a way I could respect.
Yeah.
Like, it looked really quick. Like that, like the WWE games do not look,
Right.
So I was actually kind of interested, but it almost looked like a little too janky or like a little too.
Well, it's Ukes and THQ.
No,
Ukes.
it's Aki.
Oh, it's Aki. Aki's doing it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was Ukes that was doing this. Okay, well, I mean,
they might be like helping him or something, or maybe like some collaboration. But yeah, it's Aki. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, whatever. Kenny Omega is like the big fan of the.
Oh well, yeah, definitely. I mean, Kenny Omega is a huge gaming fan.
Yeah.
So.
And hell, he's not wrestling anymore. So, or he's not wrestling right now. So.
No, it is Ukes.
Okay.
Yeah, and THQ Nordic is going to be the publisher.
Oh.
So. Yeah, whenever Ukes left, and that's the game.
I thought it was Ukes also, but I was watching
Yeah.
like the Bombcast earlier, and they said Aki, so that's why I just assumed it was them. Or,
maybe they were making comparisons to it because they're trying to make it feel that way.
Yeah. But it looked really quick, like way quicker than like a WWE game. So that's good.
I mean, if they're trying to do arcade wrestling, then it does need to be quick. They're not trying to do a simulation,
of
wrestling, so that makes more sense.
I have to hold like 4 buttons to do like a chin lock or something.
Yeah. No, we don't need to make it super complicated. We don't really know a lot of the roster yet either. I mean, there's Adam Page, Adam Cole, Baby Sting, and Kenny Omega, obviously. But I imagine the Young Bucks are going to be in it. But that's going to be another thing that they need to kind of let us know about, right?
Yeah, or hell, I mean, I'd rather have like 20 or 30 wrestler roster than 900 characters that WWE games have that no one cares about.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to go ahead and have you been playing anything super big or?
Well, I finally got PS Plus back after like a few months of not having it.
Okay.
So let's see. I played Diablo 3 some. Because I want to get some of the more like I'm pretty close to getting the platinum in that game. I just have a few trophies to like annoyingly collect. But me and Yen started playing Bloodborne. Man, I don't like it, or I just find it real tedious.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
that's the game everybody says that if you don't like those kind of games, you should play it.
See, I think I'm really spoiled by Elden Ring.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of character design and a lot of enemy design in Elden Ring looks straight from this game. It looks like Elden Ring just kind of copied it.
Oh, okay.
I don't like the city layout. I don't like how it looks in general. Like it's just Yen thinks it's like the best looking game ever, or he thinks it's like the best PS4 game ever, and I'm like, you started the drugs too early tonight, my friend. Like, it's just super...
It does have a really cool like gothic horror look,
Yeah, but that's all it has. Like, it's just such a static world, Yeah. That's kind of my problem. It's just like, okay, it's HP Lovecraft. I got it,
Yeah.
It's fine enough, and we'll play it or we'll finish it. But it's of course it does the stupid like leveling thing because he has like a god tier character, but because he's coming into my game world, he's like severely at a disadvantage.
Oh man.
And I just hate systems like that. It's like, why he should just be able to like mow everything down for me, and he pretty much already can as it is. But like he was saying, like his health bar is basically like 4/5 gone in my game. Because it scales
really?
so bad.
Oh, because it has to go back, to wherever your level is. Okay. Gosh.
And it's funny, we're playing this game because he basically broke down on Remnant from the Ashes.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember the first time y'all were going through it, he didn't like it either.
We got to a boss fight where we have to like take out like these three like basically like three machines in this like arena area, but the enemies constantly respawn. And they constantly respawn because it's a ranged shooter, so you need enemies to kill to get ammo back. But he just can't like deal with that. So I tried it like 3 or 4 times, and he's just like, "I'm deleting this game forever. Like I can't play it anymore."
That's a good. Wow. He was like, "No, I'm just done with this." And you're
Pretty
over
much.
here. I love it. I love it. Please, I want to keep playing it.
I mean, I guess I'll have to finish it, or I can just get past that area myself, or find
Yeah.
other people.
I
'Cause he
thought
even
y'all
said-
beat that game
No,
originally. Okay,
we
no,
never
you
did.
didn't?
And then it's funny because he was like, "I don't know why." I think he said like, "I don't know why anyone would be playing this game instead of Elden Ring."
Well, I
And it's
mean,
like,
you already beat Elden Ring, that's why.
well, it's like, don't you understand that people like other games, or
Yeah.
like,
They don't get
But-
stuck on. I mean, even though there are a lot of people still just sitting there playing Elden Ring, which I don't blame them.
I
but
mean,
still.
yeah, you're not playing Elden Ring because we
No, I'm
finished
not.
it,
Yeah.
like,
Exactly.
and I haven't touched it yet, but I guess the Analog Pocket got some fun new updates lately.
How goes the? Have you made it anywhere close to the Sunbreak part of Monster Hunter Rise?
Hell no.
Okay.
I mean, I do have like one friend playing that game on PC, but she is like so far above, like ahead of me. Like she's already in that like area, so it's like I could never even play with her.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm doing like the second hunt, and she's on like hunt 300. So good luck.
Yeah, it's exactly good luck with it.
I did beat Rogue Legacy too.
Oh, that's cool. I'm glad
Yeah.
you did. But so, any changes on what you thought about the game since you beat it, or?
I mean, I think that game is pretty unplayable or unbeatable, let's say, without certain character classes or traits. Just like any roguelike, really.
Yeah.
I had a character who's a chef. That I had a few traits that, like, when I would kill enemies, they would drop more food, which is like how you restore health. So, I would kill 3 enemies and I get like food back. So I basically like indestructible.
Oh, okay.
So that was cool. And I beat
That's
it when I
good.
was watching Northern Exposure, which is how one does.
Well, I have been playing the game that I've been waiting for this entire year here, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And I'm about 20 hours in. That's not even close to anywhere near. If you want to do, apparently the story is like 50 hours. If you want to just completely just only mainline and don't do anything, but honestly, you have to do side quests in this game because now they even have the extra characters that you get, that extra 7th character that has been mentioned. That's how you get those. You have to do their side hero quests. So they really should have seen part of the main storyline, but they just made them this side quest thing that you have to do for each one when you meet them. But so again, you don't need to play necessarily Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2 to be able to play this game, but there is callbacks, and a lot of the battle system is very much like Xenoblade Chronicles 2. But just they kind of add different things to it. It's absolutely it is a fun game to just battle in, to just play the gameplay. I love the way that they added on to the system where you have the arts and then you still have the chain attacks. Now they have the thing where they have the mechs, which they call the Ouroboros, so you can turn into. They even have storyline stuff with them as well that I've gotten to. So I really have enjoyed my time with the game so far. I love all 6 of the characters. So far, this is like a really dark story compared to, like, let's say 2 that was very anime, and it's just really seemed kind of weird compared to like the story of 1. This really kind of goes back to more of 1. Like it's you got the two rival factions fighting each other, and they're literally fighting each other for their lives because everybody has a 10-year lifespan, and you're trying to survive so you can, I guess, get go on to heaven or whatever they would say that is. You find out the story behind that, and then but yeah, I think that the the battle system has been improved. The game looks great in portable mode for the first time. I've been playing mostly portable mode. I did play some on the TV, but I think it looks really good in portable mode, quite honestly. So you can play it. It holds the 30 frames pretty well for the most part. So yeah, again, this is like a 150-hour game, 120 to 150-hour game that I'm barely scratching the surface of because the battle system's so good. I just want to, like, every time I run into a freaking enemy, I just want to battle it. There's a job system in this game as well, so that's kind of the core conceit. Aside from the Ouroboros, which the Ouroboros actually have their own skill trees as well that you can level up. The job system, there's 20 jobs in this game, and you learn the jobs by having the other characters use that job, and then the other characters can then be able to also use that job. So you can, you could technically have 6 healers if you wanted to, or 6 sword fighters or whatever. But this is, again, like, if you haven't played Xenoblade at all, it's very much like an MMO inspired kind of battle system. So you have the DPS guy, your defender guy, you have the attacker, you have the healer, and you kind of need to keep a balanced team, and you have to move around in real time. So the best way to do an attack is to, like, hit him from the back or hit him from the side compared to whatever is going on. And yeah, it's the game I've been waiting for. For me, it lives up to the hype. Obviously, I'm gonna have to play more, so it may take like the whole month to get through it or whatever. But I'm just glad that it is not disappointing, and it's well worth that time that we waited and have been. Like, I'm surprised like how many people have just decided to start with this game and not played the other two at all. And it looks like people made the great choice because this might be the best one of all of them so far.
Did Jenna Coleman come back? I don't know her character's name.
Oh, the one that plays Melia?
I guess.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure because I don't know if there's going to be any of that. So far, no. But I don't know if there's going to be more. There is callbacks to the other games so far, but I don't know if we're going to see more direct things like that later. I mean, Uni, she starts out as the healer, who's on the team with Noah, who's the main protagonist, is a descendant of Melia. So, or like Melia's people, very much like Mio, the cat girl, is a descendant of Nia from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, like their people. So,
I mean, IMDb says it's her, and they're never wrong. So,
yeah. So, well, who are they saying who's her voice? Like, who's she voicing? Okay, but Melia's not yet in the game.
In the story, yeah,
in the story. So if she shows up at some point, I don't know.
That's a spoiler.
Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, I will say the villains in this game are like a tad too wacky. Like, that's where you get the real like anime kind of stuff of like they made the main characters grounded this time, and then because that was the difference. Like, the villains were what people liked about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 because the main characters were too, like, you had this kid and Rex and the two Mithra and Pyra that have the fame that they have. I don't need to go over that again, but now it's like, oh, we got to make the villains be these jokey guys that have these funny voices, and of course everybody's British in this game except for Senna. So you also have that, like you have Welsh accents and all various kinds of English accents in this game too. So yeah, the script is very English. They even came up with their own, so they kind of pulled the Guardians of the Galaxy kind of thing. You know how they said flark instead of saying the F word. Well, here they say spark. So you get to hear that a lot of, and then you get the same. So if you want something a bit media, as they say, literally you're gonna hear the same people then repeat the same line constantly over and over and over. So, yeah, because they after every battle, I think I heard somebody Uni say that Lance wants something meteor a gazillion times. So or Senna saying that she's the girl with the gall constantly. So if that bothers you, I just ignore it because that's been a thing in all the games. Shulk saying he's feeling it constantly. That was a thing in one. So yeah, but I love they and the creator of this game is of these games is just he's spot on. He knows what he's doing. Uh and this game is, I think, the culmination of all that, and they've done a fantastic job here. And I'm sorry I let that trailer go on too long, and it probably played some spoilers for people that just wanted to kind of hear my thoughts on the game and not get spoiled. I'm sorry. So I just spoiled myself, really, quite honestly, but it is what it is. Um, I'm loving the game. I hope everybody that's playing it is. It seems like y'all are all loving it too. I can't wait to keep playing it. It just seems like a great adventure to be going on for these 100 hours that it's going to be. So I'm just kind of gonna try to take my time with it, because then I know a lot of things are going to be a letdown after that. So kind of like you guys with Elden Ring, I guess, earlier this year, of like you haven't really been able to find a game that's kind of matched that yet. I feel like I'm gonna have that problem the rest of the year, where I'm gonna have it's not gonna be able to match the how I feel about this game.
Except for actual Elden Ring.
Yeah, well, I don't know that I will play Elden Ring because that's not my thing. I don't like bashing my head against the wall. But I don't know. Maybe if somebody plays it with me, I don't know.
Believe
Maybe
me, Elden Ring has that, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
At all, especially with like a magic character, you can really just kind of cheese your way through that game, like I did.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But all right, I think that's gonna do it for the show this week. Thank you for everybody that either watched on Twitch or Twitter or on the Facebook page. You can go follow us, WTMNet on Facebook. I think it's WTM Network on Twitch. And then you can go follow me at WTM Sean on Twitter, at Humanity Playing for Marc. Go read Marc's column over on Full On Mania.
If they ever post it.
They still haven't posted that? That's crazy. You might want to go let Jeremy or somebody know that nobody has posted that yet. And
that's
then
funny. I'll just post the next one, and then I'll have like a backlog.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to review this game, so we'll see. Like I said, I'm trying not to just barge through it, but I also kind of have to keep a steady pace. And then we'll see what happens this week in games. There really isn't that. I kind of didn't talk about what's coming because other than Frogun being there as a old 2D platformer, there's really nothing big or of note coming out until we do a show again next time. 2 Point Campus will be out by then, but we already talked about it. So yeah. But all right. Until next week, we'll see y'all later, everybody.
Later.